Hey guys, Sarah here, and today we're going to be making some awesome isometric text in Affinity Designer. So to begin, we're going to go over to the Isometric tab on the left, and we're going to click Modify Grid. And this will bring up all the different options we want for our grid type. And I'm going to go Show Grid, and it brings up the isometric grid. Now here you can sort of modify your grid. It's kind of enormous right now, so I like to bring it down quite significantly just so I can get some more details out of the isometric, the figures and the shapes. So I'm going to keep it at, let's see, I don't really have a number that I usually stick to. I kind of just eyeball it and see where I like. And then I usually stick a division in there just because, I don't know, I like the amount of detail it allows you. So I'm going to go with 30 spacing and 2 divisions. And if you're curious, the gutter basically just does that. So it creates spaces between all the little grid points. I haven't actually experimented with any design that uses a gutter, but I kind of like how that looks on its own. But for today, I don't think we're actually going to use that. So we can close that. Close. There we go. And from here, we can actually start designing our isometric text. Now, there are 2 ways, essentially, that I found that you can do isometric text. The first is basically just drawing, text. Hello. And make that a little bit bigger. Yep. And then pick, any kind of font you want. That's a fancy font. And then from there, you can actually just go over here and decide which plane you want that to show up on, and then just go fit to plane. Ta-da! So that's obviously not quite isometric. Doesn't have any of the depth, but you can add some depth by duplicating it below and then sort of putting in shapes in these parts here. So that's sort of one way to make isometric text, and you can put it on any different plane you want. So you can get that kind of effect where you've got some cool shadows going on. Actually, that looks really cool, doesn't it? Although for this tutorial, I think I'm going to show you how to do isometric text just made out of shapes. So basically a custom font, but I'm going to stick to a very, very geometric font because, when you're dealing with isometric everything, geometric shapes are a lot easier to do than with curves and angles. So we're just going to do very, very basic sort of text here, and I'm trying to figure out what plane I want to start on. Usually I'll pick either the front or the side so I can get an idea of what I want my shape to look like. Now, I didn't go fit to plane, edit in plane. So when you click edit in plane, you can actually draw a shape directly in the plane that you want it to be, front, side, or top, which is extremely, extremely helpful. I'm just going to pick a color here to work with. Typically when I start to do any isometric anything really, I'll just kind of pick whatever color I want. For the front, I'll do one color. For all the side, I'll do another color that has enough contrast so I can kind of differentiate between the two, and then another color for the top, and then kind of come back to it later and figure out what colors I actually want to use. So to begin, I'm not going to use that shape because I don't like it. So I'm just going to draw let's see, I'm going to draw the number 3 here. I'm going to try to do the text that says 3D depth, because all of those letters are actually really easy to create. No crazy diagonals or anything, so that should be pretty easy to follow along. So I'm just going to start drawing some shapes here, and I'm going to duplicate that. I'm pressing Shift and Alt on my PC because I am not using a Mac, so I apologize if you're on a Mac. I'm not super sure what that is on a Mac. So as you see, I'm trying to make a 3 here. Let's see. And I want to take the same thickness for each shape. So I'm going to tilt that. And ta-da! So I've got a 3, and obviously that's just one plane of an isometric letter, or number in this case, but it is still pretty easy to create. Now with the first shape that I make, or the first letter, number, whatever, I kind of use that as a guideline for the thickness of all the other shapes. For example, the next letter I want here is going to be a D, so I just sort of copy this main here to get this shape, so I know that the D will sort of have like the same thickness and dimensions. And I'll do that with the top pieces as well. And And so it just kind of gives me a guideline on exactly how high and how wide each of my letters are. I just literally, whatever the first letter is, I just take that thickness and the height, or the height and the width of that, of each one. And then when we get to the other planes, we can kind of figure out whatever we want to do with that a bit later. For example, we don't have to make that to be the same. It could be, a very, very long or very deep isometric font, or letters rather. Okay, that's a horrible color combination. So we're just going to stick with the front plane first. And I'm actually going to move this down a bit because I think I have made it a bit too close to the top here. Okay, so we've got 3C right now, which is obviously not what I'm going for. 3D, now we have 3O, which is not working either. So with the D's, I will usually do, I'll put like a little wedge in there so it's got a bit of a curve, but it's not actually a curve, it's just like a cutout. So to do that, you can't really edit a shape directly. So you go right click and convert to curves. And then you can just bring that down a little bit. And I've got this shape underneath, so it's not going to work super well. I got to remember to do that on the bottom as well. So there we go. We've got just a bit of an angle there, so it definitely looks like a lot more of a D. And I'm just aligning that point right there with the bottom. So it still looks, pretty good. It'll look a lot better when we added a bit more depth to it. But we do have, the 3D here, and that's kind of what we wanted. Now I'm not actually going to write, I think, the next D. I'll kind of want to keep it or have it so 3D and then depth kind of goes down this way, but actually maybe I'll just copy this and bring it there and then write depth here and then see what I can do a bit later. Now the problem with a lot of these, the curves I find when you do them with an isometric, is that it looks really weird when they're on an angle. So, I mean, the 3 looks fine. The D, it always bothers me with these angles. So I'm going to try to bring it up a little bit and see, oh, what have I done? I ruined it all. What am I doing here? There we go. I'm going to bring this across a bit, and I'm just kind of experimenting now. Sometimes you have to experiment just a little bit with the letters. To see, what am I trying to do here? I need that higher there, and maybe I'll have to draw something new in here to get a quick idea of what I want. So I'll just draw, no, that's what I had before, so I want to bring it up to here and just have like a tiny, tiny little thing there. I'll make that the orange color. I want to see if that works. Yeah, that might be a bit better because, yeah, it's just a bit nicer, I think. It worked fine before, but I think this might be enough. I'll have to see when it's done. I'll just copy that down here, and nope, I may have to just redraw it. If I can remember what I did. Okay, so I'm just using the pen tool right now, and it doesn't really matter what shape I draw as long as I get this angle correct. Okay, so that's about the same there. So that definitely reads as more of, well, it definitely reads as a D, maybe not as much as this. So maybe I will keep both of those active. And I'll group all that together, and I'll group all that. I'm just going Control G for group. And that's possibly Command D on a Mac. I'm not super sure. I don't have a reference here. But if you're on a Mac, I'm sure you probably know what the alternative to Control is. So I'm not sure which D I like better, to be honest. But that's the tricky part with isometric designs, isn't it? All right, so I think I'm going to not use this one. As lovely as it is, I'm going to move it off to the side. Bye. Like how it just, if you press shift, it'll actually remain on the grid as you're sliding it. That's like an isometric grid rather than going like straight across as it normally would, which is kind of nice, although it's something you kind of have to get used to, because when I want something to actually go directly, to the left or the right and pressing shift, it doesn't work when I have an isometric grid. So that's more of an adjustment to get used to the software itself. So 3D, and we're going to keep that D. Now I like that D, so I'm actually going to ungroup everything and select it all, and then go up here to add. And when I press that, it all becomes a single shape. So now I can just change the color at will, and it's just all one shape now. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the 3, ungroup all the shapes within it, and actually I will copy this first because I might need those in a bit. So add that. So now my 3 and my D are all one shape. And if you want to go back, for example, and change different shapes within this one for, do that. That might be better. I'm not sure. I'll come back to it later. But it's good just to have that sort of reference point shape somewhere on your design. You can keep it off the artboard or really wherever. So I'm going to bring this D down again. 3D. And, well, this is, fortunately we're going with a very geometric 3 here. So if I can flip it, yeah, nice. So now I don't need to draw the E, which is awesome. Not that you probably need to see that because you saw how I did the 3. So you can get a pretty good idea of how to draw the E. Shape, 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 shape. And now we're going to draw a P, which I'm going to use this as a guide for the stem of the P here. And I'm going to use probably these parts in addition. And then this shape right here, and then I'll bring it up. So you see how easy it is to create letters when you've sort of got your rough guideline here of how what you want your shapes to, sort of the width and the height of each, and how thick you want each. So right now I've got, each letter and number is about 4 by however many that is. I'm not going to count it right now, but you can see, and that's just basically how my grid is set up with the spacing and the divisions and whatnot. So we've got 3D, DEP, and I'm gonna grab the stem of the P. This is gonna be a T, so I want to use probably that for the top. I find doing capital letters is a lot easier than lowercase letters for a pretty obvious reason. They're just a bit more geometric. Although, you could definitely do a lowercase h here or lowercase d. They're not necessarily harder. I kind of like doing the capital, at least right now anyway. That's what we're doing, so tough cookies. All right, and now we're doing the H. And again, pretty simple, although I do want to make sure I am getting the same width as all the other letters here. And I'm going to follow along this sort of line as the P and press Shift to make sure it gets perfectly in alignment, and copy that over. And there we go. See, that's actually pretty easy. And now my guide shape is no longer of use, so it's gone. And now that I like all my shapes, they're perfect, they're beautiful, I love them all. So before I actually do that, what I probably should have done with the other shapes is just copy. Oh, I'm missing the H. H, I need you. Okay. And so now I'm going to go back in and do what I did before up here, which is just select all the shapes and add, and select the shapes and add, and do that one more time. So now each of our letters is a single shape. So we can change the colors at will. But first, we are going to actually add the 3D depth, or the isometric depth, within each letter. So to do that, you're going to probably want to separate the letters just a little bit, just because you need some space. So this part is probably a tiny bit trickier than, initially drawing the face or the front of the shape or the letter, but it's not really too bad. So for this, we're going to let's see, we'll do the side first, because why not? So we click side here in the isometric panel, and then we pick a color. So what goes well with orange, purple? Why not? I may change that. And then here you can stick to having the same sort of dimensions as this, or you can have, very small, which might be a bit more logical, or you could go very deep. Totally up to you. This is sort of, designing that 3D look. So let's see, we can bring, am I using the FedEx colors? I think I am. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but is that better? Maybe. Okay, so in the three, I've got those three sides, and then there's also this one right under here. And then I'll just bring that to back. So it's, so it's just hiding under there. I'll actually change the shape of that though later. Because sometimes when I'm sort of halfway through a design, I like to change things up. So actually I'm going to delete that for now and see if I like these to be a bit more deep. Not really. I don't. I think I kind of like that. Or we could go maybe just a little bit deeper. Let's see. We'll zoom out and see if I like that. It's not bad, but I think I liked before a bit. So I'm going to Control Z that. And yeah, that works. Okay, so I will bring this side panel there and arrange, move to back. And bring it down. And it's already in the back, so that works. And if you actually want to make the adjustment for those so it's not hidden, so it's actually just this triangle shape, you just right click, convert to curves, and right click and convert to curves, and then you can just bring the shape right down. So it's just that triangle shape. Ta-da! Lovely. Okay, and now I'm actually going to do the top, just so you can see what this is going to look like when all the sides of each shape are complete. So let's do the top in not that color, that color. Ooh, I kind of like that color combo. Although this is a bit harder to see the grid lines. Not that I really need them, but it's maybe helpful if I have them. Gray, maybe? Maybe a light gray. Go for bright colors and a light gray. Oh, well, that's not really helping me see the grid lines. Okay, dark gray. Again, I'm going to change those colors later. I'm just kind of using them for now. And then we'll bring that to the top, and it fits in right there, and perfect. So it's a good idea to duplicate a lot of elements rather than drawing them new, just so you know everything is consistent. Now I don't like the gray. I hate it. I'll be honest. We'll go yellow. Oh, that's like a puke yellow. Okay. All right, yellow it is. Okay, now I can show you what this looks like without the grid. Ta-da! So there's still a lot of things we can do to this, but that is sort of your basic isometric shape. So I'm going to put the grid back on, and then I'm going to do the rest to the D. So I'm just going to copy that and bring it over and bring it up. And because we're working all in the isometric plane, we're still got edit and plane and everything, it allows you to do that just really, really easily. It's really awesome in Affinity working with the isometric stuff. And I just copy that and bring it over. And I'm going to do the same with that one. That'll be down there, and bring it down to there. And then I will go arrange, move to back. And then I need that yellow from the top back in there, and we'll bring it to here. And then we arrange, move to back again. And then I will go convert to curves, and I'll bring that back up so it's just a triangle. I should probably do that with this one as well. See, now I can't grab it. That's annoying. What have I done? Bring that, convert to curves. No, I still can't select it. Oh well. I'll have to eyeball it here. Bring it to there. Is that right? It's not mandatory to do that. I've just found later on, often when you're editing these, it's sometimes a bit easier to have already edited them together like that. Look at that. It's like they're a real 3D thing. That's very cool, isn't it? Okay, now, before I go too crazy with this color scheme, I've decided I hate it again. As I do a lot. I change the colors a lot. But I kind of want to get something that's maybe a bit more finalized. So I'm thinking, and I'll do a color palette idea here first. And I don't want my color thing to fit to plane. I just want it to be a square. Okay. So, colors. I should probably be doing this first, the color idea. So what if we go purple, magenta, and blue? That's actually a nice color combo. Okay, let's do that. So we will go maybe for the side, we'll go with purple. Yes. It's just easier to do that. Actually, that's nice. yeah, it's easier to do the colors before you get too crazy with everything. So I'm going to do them now. Not that you can't change them later. It's just, we're just going to do it now. So, whew. Okay, that's vibrant. I like that. So we are making the sides. Oh, I can't grab that. We're going to make this purple, and I can't grab this again because the D is in the front. So I'm just going to move it out of the way. And because we are still working on the awesome grid, I can just move it back into place, pressing Shift. And if you're having trouble with the snapping, because I mean this should pretty much snap right back into place, you can go up to where is it? View and then Snapping Manager, and you've got Enable Snapping and Disable Snapping, and you want this on like for pretty much everything you're doing. I haven't played around much with the screen tolerance or presets or any of this stuff, but if you're having any issues with the snapping, this is probably the place to adjust all those things. So let's make that blue, and I can't grab that. Nope, should have done that when I moved the D before. And make that blue, and let's bring that back. And even without pressing Shift, it'll just snap right back into place. And you can see that it snapped properly and is pretty, yeah, it's very accurate. All right. So we've got our 3 and our D. Ta-da, I'm just gonna group those so I can kind of play with them a bit like that. And now I'm going to do all the other letters. I'm just going to move my little color palette up here. Like that. And then we'll do the other letters, but I won't do the D because I already did the D. It's here. Ta-da! All done. Yay me. Although with the 3, I can't just flip it around because... Whoa. Because there's a lot of different planes going on here, and I need it to be completely different, obviously. So... that will be magenta. No, I didn't actually put this one on. There we go. It was not snapped. There we go. Now it's snapped. So we want, I'm going to ungroup all that and then just copy over or duplicate that over here and duplicate that here. And it's not the same width because I do have that angle there. And bring that down. Nope. Snap. Damn it. There we go. Perfect. And now we gotta move all this out of the way because I have not given myself enough room here. Move it all. Move it. And now to the P. With my FedEx colors. And I hope that's right. That I'm not just saying it's FedEx colors and it isn't. So magenta. Even if it isn't, it makes me think of FedEx when I see it. No, this is not sponsored by FedEx. It's just the colors. I can't help it. Okay, so we want that color over here, and we'll bring that up to there. Beautiful. I'm not going to go in and convert the shapes. We might do that later. I know we did it to the other shapes, but I kind of just want to get these shapes done, and then we'll see what look we're actually going for. Plus, it's not hard to just change these shapes later. So next we want to bring that, oh, that'll be up here, and bring the top. A lot of duplication of shapes here. And bring that up there. That's it. The T is actually very simple. There's not a lot to do on the T, and that's okay. We want to keep them aligned, but not touching yet until I've finalized everything. So the H, we will make you magenta, and then bring in the same shapes that we have from the T, and just, you know, keep doing the same thing what we've been doing before. Okay, the H and that one. And next we will do the top and the purple. Oh, that actually works. I don't even need to duplicate that, but I will because I want to. Ta-da! 3D depth. Cool. Now I will group them all. Control G, Control G, Control G. And what am I gonna do? I'm gonna zoom right out. Move all the stuff I don't need to the left. And then I'm going to grab it all and copy, pressing Alt and duplicating it way over there. So you can actually see how it looks without the grid. And it looks really cool. Very, very cool. It's kind of retro. I like it. Okay, so we've got our 3D depth. Now we can play with what we want it to look like more. So we can probably turn off the grid at this point, but yeah, we can probably turn it off. Let's just turn it off so we can see what it looks like. I think it'll still snap to the grid. Yeah, it will. Although these two are not snapping. There we go. So from here, you can just sort of play with the shapes however you want, which is definitely the funnest part of building anything in isometric. It's playing with the shapes as if they were in a 3D space. Because, you know, they might as well be. And see, that's pretty cool. Now, if you want, you can play around with the actual depth where, you know, you take a shape and you arrange and move it to the back. And then you can bring it up right up against another letter like that. Although I'm going to undo that because I don't like that. But let's see, what should we do with these letters? We can do it like that. We'll take them off their grid. And we can just give them a background. Not if that's too bright. So let's not use that color. Let's do a black, but not a black, like an almost black. Because black is a bit harsh. Actually, maybe like a darky blue. Yeah, like a super darky blue. And then arrange, move to back. That's pretty cool. I'm a fan of that. Now let's move it over here. Hooray. Okay, see, I like that. Now you could do some sort of like shapes in between it and embellishments and kind of whatever you want. Or you could go in, I mean, there's lots of options here. I'm just gonna delete this though. Oh, that's bright. Or you could go into here and you could add a little bit of depth to the individual shapes in each letter form. So you can go to the fill tool and do that. So you get like a little gradient in each of the planes, which is actually very cool. It sort of takes away your flat 3D look, but once you've done it to all the letters, it actually looks really cool. But I don't think I'm going to do that because it's not the look I'm going for. I think I am going for a bit more of a retro flat look without any gradients here. So I have that copied over here. So I'm actually going to see and experiment with something. So one of the things I love doing with isometric text is giving them a stroke. That sounds bad. Giving them a large stroke like that. See, that looks really cool actually. So far that's just a black stroke, and that's aligned to the center, which I think is what I usually do. The center looks like that. Ooh, the inside looks terrible, so never do that. And the outside looks somehow worse. Okay, so we're gonna go to center. And I think as long as you don't make the stroke enormous, you're probably okay, because otherwise you're just gonna lose everything you've done. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay, let's bring that back significantly. So you can see what it looks like when you've just added like a tiny bit of a black stroke to a relatively large stroke here. I like that. They're very, very cartoony shapes. Now maybe I'll double check to make sure I have all the right colors on the right planes, because I often do that. I'll forget. I'll put magenta on like a side plane and a front plane. Does everything look good before I continue editing? I think so. What have I missed? Probably missed something. Oh well. We'll find out later. So you can experiment with different stroke colors here. Maybe like a yellow. Nope, that's too much. That's not happening. A purple. Again, that's terrible. Or a dark purple. Oh, I'm already using that color. A blue. Okay, the black was definitely the best. Yeah. That was my sort of black. No, that was my bluey black. So that looks cool. Or you could do that. And actually, I'm going to bring that back and duplicate that there. I like making a lot of duplicates because often I'll go back and be like, well, I hate what I have now, so let's see what I had before. So I'm going to go click on the fill and tell everything to turn off their fill. Ta-da! So when you do that and you don't have any fill whatsoever, then you'll sort of notice that the shapes that we haven't fixed under there, here, I'll ungroup that, they will show through. It's because I don't have any fill, so there's nothing covering that up. So to fix that, I'm going to go convert to curves, and just bring that back in there. And I can pretty much do that with all of these shapes. Convert to curves and bring that in. You see how it looks with the other ones. We've already done that. And wow, that P looks messed up. Okay, this is hurting my eyes. I don't even know where to go with that. Okay, it looks really cool, but like a Trivial Pursuit is happening in the middle here. And I am completely lost. Where we're going here? Is that? Yeah, that's the shape. Okay, convert to curves. And let's just bring that in. Okay. Is that what we were doing? Oh man, this one's tricky. Okay. I'll convert that one to curves, and I am lost. Okay. Where were we here? Why is that line existing? Maybe I'll delete that. Yeah, okay. And what is this shape doing? Okay, I'm just gonna redraw that all together because, yeah. Look, a pen tool. Yay, pen tool. And let's redraw that whole thing. Okay. Whew, that's much better. Okay. So then we've got our tea here. Our cup of tea. And we are going to redraw that one. Or sorry, convert to curves and bring that one down without redrawing it. That's a bit better. The H is also a bit complicated, but I think I know what to do. Okay, ungrouping that and... Oh, no, I'm confused again. Nope. Where are we going? Okay, so this is the first one. We're gonna go convert to curves and bring that down. Okay. And the next shape, yeah, is that one. So convert to curves and bring that in. Okay, we have our shapes. Oh, thank goodness. That was scary, but not in no way actually scary. Okay, so I'm going to bring everything back again and just select everything and get my letters all working again. I think these ones are still grouped. Yes, they are. Oh, no, the 3 is not grouped. False alarm. Is them degrouped? Yes. Where the D, the E. Okay. So that's another look you can go for if you want sort of an outlined look. Let's see, the T and the H, bring it down. It's kind of a weird little gap there, but anyway. So, and then you can bring the this color, well, maybe not yet, otherwise I'm gonna lose all of this. Let's bring the P up to here, and all my letters are see-through right now. And I've sort of lost a bit of my snapping, which unfortunately I'm going to need to fix. So we will bring our grid back to fix it. Come on, T. Is my P off the grid? It might be off the grid here. Fix yourself. Work better. Come on. There we go. Okay. And yeah. Okay. I think that is better. Okay, I'm going to take off the grid again. And then select a color. Let's go with magenta. Or at least it's appearing magenta on my computer anyway. Might not be on yours. And then I'm going to select everything and see what it looks like with a smaller stroke. See, most of the letters are fitting really well together. The P, the T, and the H are not fitting well at all. So maybe the grid is off for those ones. So I'm going to adjust those until they are perfect, because I don't want any imperfections in my isometric text. Okay, so how's that look? That looks pretty cool. I like that. So what do we want to go with? I like that. I like that. This needs I feel like it needs maybe just a bit more something to it. And maybe it's just because we made the stroke so small here. Maybe it needs like that. Or you could also make it so that each individual letter has a different color on it. What we could do is maybe do magenta there, and then a pink there. I'm getting real crazy now. And a pink here there, and a purple. Just going with the Affinity, like default colors. I've used that one already. And a blue. Ooh. Oh, I like that. It's like one of those rainbow paper things you have when you're a kid that you scratch out, and it's like a fun rainbow underneath. That's what I'm getting from that anyway. Okay, so that's not bad. But generally, you get the idea of how to make 3D text. So I'm going to bring that one off, and I'm going to bring this one back on because I think this is my favorite. And there's a lot you can do with this one. Now, one really cool thing I like doing that, I mean, isn't actually that cool, it's just pretty basic, is doing something super fancy there, and then writing in totally normal letters. What are we gonna write? 3D depth is cool. Not in that font. Wow, I should never have used that font. Not the right place for that. What do we got? Century Gothic. Maybe not. Or we go with my favorite all-time font. Yeah, but in caps. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty lame. Okay, so we can just write that in there, and then we pick what plane we want it to go in and go front, because I want it to be facing the same direction as the rest of this text, and go fit to plane. And we go down here, and we just fit it to the grid, and I don't know, make it purple? Nope, we're gonna keep it black. That looks so bad. I can't even comprehend. Yeah, that'll work. 3D depth is cool. The coolest. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. You get the idea. You can bring lots of much easier text to draw that'll be on the same isometric angle all around your other custom, stuff that you built, shapes or letters. So yeah, that's essentially how to do your 3D isometric text. Now we'll bring that in. I want like a final image that looks cool. Ooh, that's cool. Do you like that? That's cool. I like that. That might be a bit bright. It's kind of hurting my eyes. Maybe we'll tone down the yellow a bit. Or tone it up. Or make it green. No, orange. Yellowy orange. Yeah, okay. Beautiful. I'm going to get rid of the yeah because it's terrible and I hate it. So 3D depth. And then what should we do? We can build something behind it to make it look even cooler, or maybe possibly worse. It's very possible. So I'm going to put front plane, edit and plane on, and draw a shape. And I'm just going to put it right there. And then let's get, I don't know, purple. We'll do it like right here and right there, maybe. Okay. Obviously it's in the front right now, but we will have to move it to the back. So those two, and I'm going to group those and arrange, move to back, and then arrange, move to back. I think that actually should have the stroke. The other one, the same one as this one. What stroke? That's 13.2. So we'll give that one 13.2. Cool. Okay. So that's not bad. We can stretch that. No, I don't want to stretch that. Then it's off on a different plane entirely. So we'll do it like that, but keep it aligned with the same lines here. So it's not too weird. So that's kind of fun. And then you can put like some patterns or some different brush shapes inside of each, or you could make the whole thing smaller, which I think I might do now because we're not designing on a grid anymore. Oh no. I was not pressing shift. We're not designing on a grid anymore, so our shape is done. So we can just bring that down in size. Now our stroke did not adjust with that, so our stroke is still enormous. So we can bring that down to a nice, respectable 12, perhaps? Why do those look different? I think they're just not aligned. Oh no, they're not aligned at all. I never aligned that one. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Ooh, is that aligned? Is it aligned? I don't know. But it looks pretty good. On my monitor anyway. So I'm maybe gonna move this one out a bit. And that one out a bit. Because we can. So now that should be aligned with the E. This part's so unnecessary, but it's making it prettier. So therefore it's necessary. Okay, 3D depth. All right, I think we're done. That looks pretty good. Is it centered? No. Is it centered now? Maybe. Bring it up. And cool beans. All right, I like that. So that's pretty much it. How to create something that is text and is isometric and looks cool, and you can kind of do whatever you want. You can add, you can add so many things to this. I'm just gonna ungroup it there. So you can add to each shape. You can do the gradients. You can, you don't have to use the same colors for all of them. I could do, this could be blue, a different blue, then they could all be different colors. And there's a lot of options when you're working with the isometric text, and it's very, very cool to experiment and play, especially when you put the shapes or the letters or the numbers on top of each other like that, or just playing around with the actual depth within the design, because that's just really fun. At least I think so, and I hope you think so too. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this tutorial helped you a ton. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.